Beth Golick from Key Ministry, and I'm often asked, what language should our churches use when it comes to disability? When you drill down on that question, what many people are wondering is, should we use the term special needs? I'm not going to answer that with an easy yes or no. It's a bit more complex than that. First of all, we need to agree on the framework. We are tackling the issue of language not from a secular perspective, but in a gospel framework. We aren't deciding what words the world should be using, but instead we are looking to choose words that are inviting those inside and outside the walls of the church into Christian community, where our identity is in Christ, so that we can make disciples who make disciples. I'd like to provide you with 5 things to consider when it comes to your church and the language of disability. Language changes. If you've been around long enough, you know that the terms surrounding physical, intellectual, and hidden disability have changed over the years. There are words that were once in use that are completely outdated now. If you've been around long enough, you've most likely personally changed the language you've used along the way. Language is regional. We don't all use the same words to describe certain things. For instance, if you have a hankering for a cool, bubbly drink, are you going to ask for a soda, a pop, or a Coke? The same goes for the language of disability. Oftentimes, the language of the local school district informs what terms churches in the area use. Some areas of the country are more likely to use words like special education and special needs in their schools, while others tend towards terms like inclusion. It's impossible to please everyone. We want to be as honoring with our language as possible to individuals and families with disabilities. People first or person first language is generally accepted as the preferred way of describing a person and their disability when it's necessary to do so. It's what's in the ADA as appropriate language. But keep in mind that some advocates prefer identity-first language. As an example, a person may prefer to identify themselves as autistic rather than a person with autism. I think we're all in agreement that we want to listen to how people refer to themselves and then use the appropriate language, either people first or identity first, when in conversation. But sometimes it's not as flexible as an individual conversation. Sometimes you have to choose words to describe something, maybe on your website, for instance, and you need to pick a term to use. Consider your internal and external audience. Who are you inviting in? Who is already here? And what will honor them? Take it all into consideration and just know that it's impossible to please everyone. Consider your website. Whether or not you are using terms like special needs or disability, there are people who are searching to connect with your church using those words. The church can improve its SEO or search engine optimization by including keywords on its website. Be humble, be flexible, and be willing to change. Let's face it, sometimes we're going to get it wrong. Times change, language changes, our churches change. Perhaps your church is moving from a niche ministry that serves children with disabilities, a special needs ministry, to more of a disability-inclusive mindset. It's important that we have the conversations about the words we use. We need to listen to our internal and external audiences and be humble, be flexible, and be willing to change. Topics like this one are exactly the types of things we discuss on the monthly Disability Ministry Video Roundtables hosted by Key Ministry. Please visit keyministry.org to learn about the roundtables and other resources available to ministry leaders who are striving to make their churches more welcoming to individuals and families impacted by disability.